Hello, welcome to Thoughtful Thursdays. This is the last Thursday in the month of March. And for those of you who have been following along, you know that we're trying to improve our habits this month. So the book that we decided to focus on is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I'm very, very happy that this week I have a special guest with me. His name is John Rollins, and he's going to talk about his interaction with the book over the course of this month. John, would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Angela, for having me, and I am honored to be asked to be a part of this. My name again is John Rollins. I am a lifelong resident of Gainesville. I've been here all of my life, with the exception of a few months when I work out of town. I am the president of a nonprofit called Motivate You of North Central Florida. We are a training organization. I work with agencies who serve the youth, and we affirm the greatness of each individual through our message. You are important. And so I'm delighted to be a part of this, and I'm looking forward to discussing this book.
Well, very good, very good. I'm excited to ask you some questions. And so if you could tell me and tell everybody that's watching, what was your first impression of the book?
So, and I shared this with you offline, but in this setting, I opened the cover of the book and I read the first sentence, and I was blown away by the idea of, instead of trying to be 100, and the way that I interpreted it, instead of trying to give 100% in any given effort, he said, if you can give 1% each day, that will change your life. And it was revelatory for me because, you know, if you have 1%, 366 days, instead of being 100% better, I envision that I could be 366 times better a year from now than I would if I only gave 100% one time. And so I was blown away immediately by the practicality of this book.
Well, very good. I would echo your sentiment in that the way he approached it made it so simple to digest that it made something that can oftentimes be overwhelming when you decide you want to change, when you decide you want to do something. He made it where it's not intimidating. Right. I think everybody can agree, I'm just going to make 1% change, you know. That doesn't even require you to do much. And so you can agree to do that. Yeah. But that 1% adds up over time.
Yes. So, yes.
Well, very good. If you could, if you only had one opportunity, you know, Eminem has Eminem, I'm messing up his name, but he has that song that says, sometimes you only get one shot. And so if you had only one shot to talk to somebody about this book, what would you say to them about what's the greatest nugget of wisdom that you took out of
it? I would think that probably the greatest nugget was from the idea of, instead of trying to change, of setting goals and trying to reach goals, which would help us to accomplish things. He said that you want to become better. You want to work on being that individual as opposed to accomplishing what that individual would do. And so instead of working on goals, and that's kind of crazy because for so long I've shared and I've made it a personal endeavor to try to create goals and work to attain those goals. To myself, I'm an task-oriented person. Okay, but he said, become a person, change your habits. And whereas once you accomplish your goal, then you have to find something else to do. But if you change your habits, that could be eternal. And so I think that would be my number one takeaway. Instead of trying to do, try to become.
Yes, I would agree with you on that too. Like-minded people here. And so my final question for you, well, at least I think it might be my final question. It might lead to a follow-up question.
Okay.
But my final question for you is, now that you've read the book and you've gone through it, how have you been able to apply some of the principles to things that you're doing? And if you can find a specific example, that would be great.
Okay. All right. So, and there have been multiple ways where I've tried to implement the things that I've read. Okay, but one thing specifically, and it's going to be more, but one of the things specifically is that I try to more intentionally schedule out my day. So I try to be intentional now about getting up and making sure that I read every day. Now, sometimes I can read in the morning, sometimes, but I want to read every day. I try to be intentional about commitment to prayer. I mean, I'm a praying person, but I try to be intentional. And so instead of praying maybe in the morning, I just make sure that I pray every day, multiple times throughout the day. And this is a part of the 1% piece. I try to make sure that I'm writing out my to-do list, which is something that I wasn't doing before. I was kind of living, I knew what my calendar said, but I didn't necessarily have it listed out based on the areas of priority. And I know you asked for one thing, but the 1%, get out and work out. Just get under the weight bench and get under some weights and do it. I may not get an hour, okay, but every day if I can put some time in to try to do something that will improve me, that's how I've tried to apply it. And so, and I have to believe that based on some of the results that I'm seeing, that the information that he shared is actually making a difference for my life. So.
Very good. Is this a book that you would recommend to other people?
Highly, highly recommend. And I am so appreciative of you. I know that you've been going through several books, okay, but this book, and it came in a time, and you know when it came into my life. But
Yes.
This year, and so a little information. This year, I've really been trying to, starting at 2020, I've been trying to, probably, I guess the best phrase is to simplify my life. I try to be more intentional in how I'm living. And this book has given me, I think, a recipe for being able to do that. I'm not one of those creative bakers. I try to pull out the recipe every time and make sure that I don't mess it up. And I think this book will serve in that capacity for me, for my life. I would highly recommend this book.
Okay, well, thank you. Sometimes it's a hit or miss about whether or not a book will resonate with a person, but I can honestly say this book resonated with me. You've shared with me how it resonated with you, and multiple other people, my mom included, have picked up the book and really been able to use it and move forward with it. And so I'm thankful that it kind of fell on my radar, and so many people have also adopted it and picked it up. And I'm not going to keep you too much longer, but I really wanted to thank you for taking the time to sit and talk to me about the book, but also over the course of this month, having conversations with me, being willing to actually even read it, and so every day we try a little bit by little bit to become better people, and it's encouraging to be around people that follow that same path. It gives me energy, it gives me hope, it gives me encouragement, and I am thankful and I'm hopeful that this little interaction between the two of us is going to also encourage other people not only to pick up the book, but find more of their own little circles of encouraging and positive people to keep motivating them to go forward. So thank you.
Especially during this time, Angela. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and
Yes.
Every opportunity to simplify, to keep us aligned with that's who we are at the core, I think it's just going to make life a little bit easier for us. So thank you for, again, having me and for this opportunity. I'm so grateful.
I am too. And so we're going to sign off, and then I know I will talk to you again on many other subjects, but for a Thoughtful Thursday, thank you all for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.
All right,
Bye.
blessings to you. Blessings to everyone.